Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Chukwumo Bonea. I am the Technical Secretary, Nigerian Society of Engineer, Manchester branch, and I want to welcome you this evening. I want to start this session by recognizing our national president, Madam Margaret Oguntala, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers. I also want to acknowledge our patron, Engineer Demola Orulufemi, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers. I want to thank our Airport branch chairman, who has been very wonderful and fantastic, always being here during our technical session and encouraging the branch to grow. Our branch chairman is Professor Adebisi Bamidele, MBA. Today, I want to thank specially our speaker, Engineer Akin Oguntusin. He's going to speak to us on leveraging artificial intelligence in software development. Our technical session is usually very, very fantastic, and I know today will not be an exception. I will allow Engineer Oguntusin to say more about himself so that he will be in charge of his time, because we just have 1 hour for this session. Thank you so much. I want to yield the floor to him. Thank you, Engineer Oguntusin, for doing this. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Ogbonna. You're welcome to NSC Manchester's technical session on leveraging artificial intelligence in software development. We shall be discussing AI-assisted coding that is understood, reviewed, verified, and tested. In other words, we're not discussing vibe coding. In vibe coding, like you know, a user utilizes AI tools to generate code without necessarily understanding the code. So that's not what we're doing today. So this is the overview of what we'll be going through. We'd like to know the presenter first. We go to the starters, caution, then benefits of AI in software development. We go into getting the best out of AI, uses of AI, and then we end up with the key takeaways. So now let's know the presenter. Akin Oguntusin is my name. I am an agri engineer and a software engineer, but today we won't be talking about tractors, combine harvesters, dam design, or irrigation systems, which are focused on software development. I'm a certified O-Fusion developer and a Prince 2 practitioner. Post-graduation from University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, I practiced agric engineering and management for 2 decades. I was pupil engineer, Minister of Agric, Ogun State, became mechanization manager, Nigerian Tobacco Company Limited, then became group engineering manager for Associated Match Industries. That's covering all the factories, engineering operations in the Ibadan factory, Ikeja, Ilorin, and Port Harcourt factories. Then I became the group corporate planning manager at the same Associated Match Industries, head of marketing, personnel, purchasing, imports, and plantation departments. The last 2 decades are my software engineering years. I've worked with Barclays back in London, NHS in Fleetwood, that's near, just near here, NHS stateside in Dundee, Scotland, Holiday Break, Northwich, KCOM down south in Exeter, Dataflex in Stafford, IET, that's the Institution of Engineering and Tech at Stevenage, and Tomorrow's Guides at Hungerford Law Business Research also in London. So briefly, that's the presenter for you. So we now go to the starters for the day. artificial intelligence is not just a buzzword, it's a transformative force that engineers cannot ignore. It enhances our capabilities, enabling us to develop superb software applications faster, reduces the drudgery in coding. Some will be wondering, where can there be drudgery in coding? When you analyze lengthy codes, or you are debugging, or you are just writing unit tests, that can be very, very difficult. A little advice here, don't be displaced. Software engineers who leverage AI in their work will displace their colleagues who do not use AI. Of course, for the future, the accuracy of AI models has to increase. So more work will be required in machine learning, and more will be required of software engineers and AI specialists. But having said all that, we should forget any dream of having AI do all the work while we sit idle. It's not going to happen. Instead, it will be an era of continuous learning and reskilling. On to caution now. Do not rely completely on AI. Use AI-generated code with utmost sense of responsibility. You are responsible for the code you publish. Guide, review, fact check, verify, refine, and test AI-generated code before you use or publish. Its content can be inaccurate, it can be unethical, it can be misleading, or even offensive. It can introduce subtle security risks into your code and can contravene copyright and privacy laws. The code may not even run. And ensure that AI-assisted code complies with your organization's style, that's the in-house style and standards, like naming convention, architecture, and stuff like that. Now we move on to some benefits of AI in software development. Most of us, we all know that anyway. Enhanced productivity, more codes can be written per engineer day. Improve code quality with AI-assisted code reviews and bug detection. Then there's faster turnaround time to publish, upgrade, and market your product. Now, how do we get the best out of AI? I've put this in 6 boxes. Know your core programming languages, the primary programming language you are using, and technologies. Use appropriate AI tool for your task. Be conversational in your prompts. Use natural language, that is everyday speech. Like you tell your spouse, oh, I love you, or your boss, I need 2 days leave next week. That's everyday speech. Then specify the rules you want AI to follow. Be specific, clear, and concise in your prompts. Then add the 4 key areas of a prompt. That is the information the AI will need to do the job. Then the tasks you want the AI to do. Then the context. We'll know more about the context later. And then the format you want the output to be in. Then lastly, on this page, you connect with AI. Ask AI if it needs any other information to do the job, to get the job done, and give AI feedbacks. Now, let's start with knowing your core programming languages. We are going to use this prompt here. Use CodeFusion to change the extension of files in a folder from HEIC to JPG extension. HEIC is the Apple extension of image files. Now, if you've joined the meeting with a mobile phone, the codes presented will be rather small to read. So just pinch and zoom to increase the text size of the code, and print to zoom out after we are done with each slide of code. So to illustrate, we are going to use this prompt. Ordinarily, you want to change the file type of a picture or photograph or an image rather than just take the extension, because some applications will not read it if you just change extension, they know what's behind it. But this is just for illustration to show you why you need to know your core languages. So we are going to talk to GPT-4o and pass that prompt to it. Use coefficient to change the extension files in a folder from HEIC to JPG. I hope you are seeing the code. It may be tiny. Don't worry, you can pinch to zoom in. You will see here that the response from GPT-4o says file rename. But in ColdFusion, there's nothing like file rename function. ColdFusion uses file move. So you need to know your core languages. Otherwise, you can imagine this is just 24 lines of code, and we've got one bug introduced by the AI. Imagine when you now have 1,000 codes. How are you going to waste your time, just unraveling AI-generated bugs. So you need to know your core languages. We move on to using appropriate AI tools for your tasks. The AI tools, there are so many out there. So all you need to do is get to know the ones that will work for the tasks you have at hand. So the next thing we want to do is to obfuscate the JSON string, keeping it valid for parsing and processing. When you obfuscate, what you do is change it from being easily readable to something that can be parsed and processed, but it's not easily humanly readable. So we pass that prompt to the AI, obfuscate the following JSON, blah, 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 encode with surrogate pairs, obfuscate the object keys and so. The outcomes we got from this is GPT-4o obfuscates my JSON string successfully, which is good. GPT 4.1 adds funny symbols. We're going to see that in a minute. DeepSeek runs out of fuel midway. By the time I introduced 3 objects to be obfuscated. The DeepSeek just ran out of fuel midway. But I reduced it to 1 just for illustrative purpose here. Deep AI also fails. ChatGPT, of course, just advises us to use Python to obfuscate. Now let's see what we get from GPT 4.1. It goes in planning response, blah, 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 and goes through generating our result for us. Let me try and make this faster if I can and rush to the, oh no, okay, let's wait so that we can gain some time. Okay, so after it finishes, we are going to copy this string down and then have a look at it and see what it looks like. Okay, so we copy that, we put it in a JSON reader and a viewer, and what do we see? You see all those funny symbols? That's not what I asked the AI to do. So definitely I won't be using this for any obfuscation I want to do. So now let's see how GPT-4o will do it. We're now on GPT-4o, sorry, not 40. Let's see how it's going to do it. It's responding. The longer your input is, the longer it will take the AI to get the work done. It's responding. And by the time it finishes, we're going to copy just like when we were on GPT 4.1, and we see what the outcome looks like. I've actually put in 3 objects here. It's going to do just one. It will complain like a human being and try to avoid doing the job. Okay, it's finished now. It says the second and third objects will be obfuscated similarly. Okay, so we copy that. We look at it in Davis JSON viewer, and what do we have? We'll see this one will give us a very neat JSON. There you go. So I can read hash lyrics. What 4.1 gave us in hash lyrics was, all these colorful symbols and stuff, but this is exactly what we need. So it means I will now be able to focus on 4.0, I mean 4.0, to get any JSON obfuscation done. So you need to know, you need to choose the appropriate AI tool for whatever job you want to do. Now we move on to how you talk to the AI. Use the natural language. Like I said earlier, you tell your husband, your wife, your child, "I love you," behave, stuff like that. The same way, that's the way you talk to the AI. So the prompt we're going to pass next is create a website for the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Manchester branch. Use Code Fusion, HTML5, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. Those are very clear commands. And that's the way to do it, as if you're talking to somebody. So let's see what is going to give us. Now, to start working, we are still using our 4.0, GPT 4.0. Then it gives us the file structure, writes the HTML file, the index CFM. And by the time it finishes, we'll look at what it has produced, because we are going to use what it gives us now in the next illustration. So those are the files. You have the application CSV, that's the entry point for the application, the main JavaScript, and everything you need really. So where do we go from here? So that's the job done, and we progress. We now see what it has given us in the HTML file now comes out as that. Nigerian Society of Engineers, Manchester branch, blah, blah, welcome. This in black and white. Please keep this black and white website in mind as we are going to refine it in the next step. So you see how fast it can get things done for you. Now we specify the rules you want the AI to follow. Use specific, clear, and concise prompts. You can refine what you've done before by introducing new rules into your prompts. And of course, you make sure the context is clear, So we move on. The website we did before, we're going to refine by adding the following prompts. Use purpose theme and the Nigerian Society of Engineers logo. On the home page, had booster features for special events, and the other tools, events, technical sessions, events on YouTube. They use the purple buttons. When you pass that in, what you get is this beautiful page compared to the black and white we had before. So you have the logo there, you have the highlights, technical sessions, events on YouTube, you have all your purple buttons, and we are home and dry. So that's how we go about it. Now, let's move on to connecting with, well, in the last slide, you see being specific makes it easier for the AI to give you very good output. So specificity, reduces inaccuracies in the output generated by AI. So try and be specific. Now we try to connect with the AI. Ask if the AI needs any other information to get the job done. Then give AI feedbacks. When feedback is provided to an AI, it can learn and improve. Also, feedback enables AI systems to adapt to individual user preferences and provide more personalized experience. Here, we're going to try something that's not really code. It's just a textual example. We shall ask Deep AI for Nigeria's national anthem. Most of us on the platform are Nigerians, so maybe you'll be able to relate to this. It will give a wrong answer and we shall correct the AI. So give me the national anthem of Nigeria, and Deep AI says it is Arise, O Compatriots. Then I just responded, I said, wrong. So that's his feedback. And then I go on to say, I will give you the correct anthem in a moment. And it responds, I apologize for any mistakes. Please feel free to share the correct version of the national anthem, and I will acknowledge blah, blah, blah. And of course, I input the correct one. Effective May 29, 2024, Arise, and Nigeria will hail thee, and it now thanks me. Thank you for providing the updated lyrics to the national anthem of Nigeria. Here they are. Then it regurgitates what you've given it to confirm that it has received what. So you feedback the AI, then it can improve. So connect with the AI. So next we go to the uses of AI. We have upskilling, filling skills gap, code generation, code analysis, identifying vulnerabilities in your code, reviewing, refactoring, debugging, and testing. So those are the things we'll touch, briefly. I'm looking at the time. So we go to upskilling. Now, the context is very important. I've started with, I'm a software engineer, and then teach me Oracle Procedural Language SQL, which is PLSQL. Now, the response I'm going to get is going to be reasonable and useful for a software engineer. If I've changed the context to, I'm a primary school teacher, define or teach, how do I teach my pupil Oracle Procedural Language SQL? It's going to give a simpler output that will explain just in summary what PLSQL is. But we are software engineers and engineers in general, so let's see what it gives us. GPT-4o is responding, and it gives the basics of PLSQL, the structure, block. It will go on to tell us about the syntax, how you declare variables and data types, the common data types, control structures, loop statements, for loop, to go through everything, while loop, exception handling, how you do that is going to teach you all that, the cursors, explicit cursor, stuff like that, stock procedures, functions, packages. It's going to show you all that. But if we had changed the context to just primary school audience, it's going to give us something. I actually tested it. It will just give you maybe about 8 lines or 10. Just explaining in brief what PLSQL is. So that's how you can upskill, improve your own level of skill in a particular technology. Now, what about filling skills gap? Imagine that I've developed the back end of my application and I need a user interface to capture and display members' data, but I'm not UI savvy. I can ask AI to build the UI from an image of a favorite web page. Now, usually many software developers are not fans of CSS and stuff like that. So you just dump it here. You already have your backend stuff completed. So the prompt I'm going to put to the AI is create a UI like the image above. I'm going to supply one image from NSC page, membership portal page. Create a UI like the image above to capture and display a member's profile. Okay, and what happens? Yeah, that NSC profile PNG is the page, which is now showing. That's my own page on NSC membership portal. And I say, okay, create a UI like that for me. And it's planning the process, to get everything done. Now, image recognition, text recognition, and tabular data recognition ability of AI come into play here. The UI creates the user interface, the CSS, HTML, JavaScript. It's still working on the index HTML. It's going to do everything for you. The drop downs, the input fields, file selection functionality, it will do it. calendar, if any. We have calendar on this particular page on the NSC membership portal. It's going to put it in for you. So all you need to do really is to add any additional requirements you have and connect to your back end, and you're in business. So we just allow it to finish generating that, and we can move on. Let me see if I can jump. Okay, it's almost finished. Let's wait for it to finish. So it's telling us all the stuff it has used to compile. The implementation includes basic form validation, interactive features, and stuff like that. So now we try and preview what it has done. So there you go. That's what it has done. That's the HTML on the right, and that's what comes out. So you can now add more membership grades. You can add more specializations, add more branches, more divisions, more categories to the current category. Of course, the financial status and the calendar is already there. It's done it for you. You don't have any problems. And then you can, the functionality of uploading the images there. You can see my image. The handsome man is showing up there now. So it will do everything for you. All you need to do now is fine tune, add additional requirements, remove the one you don't need, and then you can continue with the serious business of building your app. So let's move on now to more code generation. We have already illustrated a number of code generation examples, but the next three illustrations will highlight the usefulness of AI assistance in complex or greenfield projects on familiar territories, so to say. And of course, we are going to look at familiar territories like, creating a coefficient component, that's a class, or a database schema. When you find yourself thrown into the deep end and have to develop a greenfield software application or a complex application of which you have zero or little knowledge about, you can start with AI. Now, our example, I have zero knowledge about face recognition. Tolu, I think, is very good in this, but I can start off with the help of AI to develop a face recognition application using the prompt, create a face recognition application that can register the entrance and exit of the staff of our company, Manchester Engineers Foundation. Now, I've asked it to use HTML, JavaScript, CSS for the interface, coefficient for API handling, and face recognition logic, and MySQL for data storage. If I ask it to use MS SQL, of course, the syntax for the SQL will be slightly different. If I leave it open, it will choose any SQL variant it wants. So if you are using a particular one, you better tell the AI use so. So here we go. It's working on it. It's giving us the index HTML, the CSS, the JavaScript. It creates all you need to start off the front end to capture the photos of members, the everything you need, the classes, the coefficient components, and the database and the tables. Let's wait because we want to see the interface is going to use to capture the images. That's one interesting part. I know nothing about all this now. So all I need to do now is go back and go through each line of the codes it has given me and then modify until I get exactly what I need. But imagine if I don't have this, I have to do a lot of research. That's the traditional way of doing it. Go on Google, go on coefficient community, go on JavaScript community online. You ask a question, somebody reply, you argue for about 2 days before you get the answer, But in this case, it will pull data from several sources until it gives you something that is reasonable to start off. Then you can build on that. So let's see what is going to give us as the interface to get. I think it will soon show that. It's I didn't even know it's going to give me that. By the time it gave me, I said, wow, that is good. And one can go from there. Let me see. It's a little bit slow. What time do you have? Yeah, there you go. So it gives us the interface of how you can capture the image, start camera, register new stuff, and stuff like that. It's just fantastic. And I know little or not, in fact, nothing about face recognition. So that's a very good example of how you can start off at the deep end, and with the AI helping you. Now let's go on to another example of code generation. And what we want to do now is to use DeepSeek AI this time around to generate a class based on the specification we provided here. Here, there are two functions. The coefficient component or class we want will be named employment. The name, access, output, return, the return type, they're all specified there. The parameters, they're all there. Once I push this in, the AI will try to write the class for me. So we are using DeepSeek. Remember the popular DeepSeek, and it's going to do it. I like the way DeepSeek works. It will be line by line, but then if you put in too much information, maybe it may be too tired for now. But I know the pro versions of the various tools will be able to do better job and faster as well. So that's the DeepSeek creating a class for us based on the specification we provided. Let me try and see if we can gain some time. Well, it's almost finished. Let's wait for it. So to give us the function, different ones, function, process, campus, email, and then at the end, it gives me notes. I've included the two requested public functions with their required parameters and return types, blah, blah, blah. Then I've added placeholder private functions for the web service called, which is fantastic. So it can add stuff and you can see whether, yes, you really like this or not. And it says the functions follow the CF script syntax as requested. So it has gone by the rules I've given it. Now let's do the next one, which is create a relational database schema based just on a textual model, which is here. You just write it down, it reads it, and it creates the database for you. We can also create from a graphical ER model as well. So let's see what it does for us. We are using DeepSeek again. Okay, based on the provided texture model, I'll create a comprehensive, the AI can be very arrogant. I'll create a very, see the way it's talking, but it does a good job anyway. So I think it's entitled to that. So we have player, contract table. You see, you know how to write all this stuff, but it takes time, Imagine all the letters here. By the time you write it, it takes maybe some days or a week. But you've got this, all you need to do now is to go back and correct, amend, update to the standard you wanted. So that's creating a database schema from textual model. Let's move on now to code analysis. I don't want us to run out of time. Okay, additional note here, it has added a leak table which wasn't explicitly in the original model, but is referenced by the team table. It notices that and it has done it. So if you want it, you take it. If you don't want it, well, you can jettison it. So let's move ahead now to code analysis. Now, understand and take control of complex applications quickly, especially when you are dealing with lengthy ones, 1,000 lines of codes and above. Code written by others and legacy codes, it can be difficult to unravel. So you just pass all this. It will just break down complex concepts into simpler stuff for you. Now, I've passed in a code of about 900 lines. to it. And so you can easily grasp the essence of any code without going through a steep learning curve when you ask the AI to analyze for you. Now, I wrote this class some years ago. It has about 900 lines. To go through and have a broad understanding of these 900 lines will take a while and can be tiring, but it's easier with AI. It can give you that overview of any lengthy or complex code. So let's have a go at this. We are using Cloud 3.5 Sonnet in this case. So it's responding, planning response. If you go through all the 900 lines, you can now see, in fact, when you are given a code that is 60 lines, you confidently dive in and sort it out. You know what it's talking about. When you have 1,000, the sheer size will first of all put you off. But if you just pass it here, pass it into an AI, it's going to break it down into chunks. You can see potential areas for attention and stuff like that. In this particular case, I'm happy. It says notable design patterns, data sets, object patterns, separation of data sets from business logic. Those are the good things you should be doing. And at the end, it shows the code shows good practices in terms of documentation, parameter validation, SQL security. So anyway, if it's not a good code, I won't even use it as an example. So that's analysis for you. The next one is identification of vulnerabilities in one's code. Now, I've injected some errors into the sample code we're using so that we can see how it picks problem areas out from your code. So I've said, check for security vulnerabilities in the code supplied. The AI will suggest fixes for them, and so that you can develop secure, efficient code. By the way, no matter how good your code is, a hacker that is motivated enough will get into your code after a while. But you should not make it easy for him. Do not develop vulnerable apps or apps that will fail easily under load. So all we are trying to do, like the obfuscation and stuff like that, you are just trying to make it difficult for somebody to tamper with your code, either steal it or, do any bad thing about it. So you just try your best, but if a hacker is motivated enough, you can forget it. Whether it takes a year or two, they will get it. So it's telling me all the problems in that particular file. Well, you first of all analyze, then it will, at the end, show me all the problems that are there, like the timeouts, very long timeouts, then the thread creation, coded credentials, is complaining about all that. So it go through step by step. So it's easy for you now to go back and make sure that you are not too exposed, or you are not building a code that will eventually fail. So that's the summary of recommendations. SQL injection, avoid dynamic SQL, ensure all queries are parameterized. In the last one, the good one, which we analyzed, we could see that all the queries were properly parameterized. But in this particular case, it noted that that wasn't done. So that's how to show you what the problem areas are. Let's quickly move on. Now, the last bit here is, we are almost finished now. Code review, refactoring, debugging, and testing. So that's another thing that the AI can do for you. So you have, use AI to review your code, refactor your code, clean up your code, format it, generate metadata for Java docs with comments and doctrines, and add comments to improve its readability, maintainability, and performance. Debug, use AI to debug to identify bugs and errors in your code before actually running it and provide suggestions to fix errors. Then testing, allow AI to help you generate unit tests to ensure your code is working correctly. AI generated unit tests saves developers the need to build tests from scratch. Of course, you know what to do, but it's just that drudgery of asserting and asserting, from one function to the other. So, lastly, we go to the key takeaways for today. Harness the power of artificial intelligence for faster development cycles and improved code quality. Utilize AI to upskill, fill gaps in your skill set, generate and analyze codes, identify vulnerabilities in your code, review, refactor, debug, and test. Software engineers who leverage AI in their work can displace their colleagues who do not use AI. Then we have AI is not sacrosanct. Review, fact check, refine, and test AI generated code. You are responsible for the code you publish, the code you ship. So be very, very careful. So I've tried very hard to make sure we go with the time. So thank you very much. I thank all the guests on the program today, all senior colleagues and colleagues in the house. Our patron Ademola, Engineer Ademola Olorunfemi, the Publicity Secretary, Technical Committee, the Technical Secretary, Dr. Chukwuma Ogbonaya, and Chairman NSC Manchester Branch, Professor Bamidele Adebisi, MBE. I can't name all the colleagues on the platform, but at least I've seen Professor Adeloye there. Thank you all very much. Over to you.
Well done.
Dr.
Thank you so much. I like the demonstration. Making it live was very unique, and you can see there are so much appreciation. So thank you so much for making it live.
Thank you.
It was very technical. So please, let's use this remaining time to interact with our speaker. This is quite useful. It's eye-opening. So if you have any question, we still have about 15 minutes. This is the time to ask questions. Okay, go ahead, Adebayo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Akin. It's been an engaging talk. I'm not an expert in this. Please, you try your best to explain the complexities in that. Now, there are these two AI platforms you mentioned, ChatGPT and DeepSeek. And when the DeepSeek was published, released some time ago, we were told that it's at a fraction of the cost of ChatGPT. Now, what is the deciding factor about which of these tools you use? Or you can use any of them, because at a point you are using ChatGPT and then you later moved on to DeepSeek. What is the rationale? How do you decide for those of us who are trying to learn the system? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that question. This is a very good one. The choice of the AI tool you use will be determined by the task you have at hand. Like the example I gave about obfuscation. Definitely, no matter how cheap or free a tool is, if it's going to give me symbols, which is not part of the original JSON string I've passed in, I'm not going to use it for that task. So a software engineer is likely to end up using many tools. Now, as an Ijebu man, I'm always using the free one, But if you want good results, you go for the pro one. You have, and of course, the free ones as well. They give you credits. So that if you don't go above a particular credit, you can still use the GPT, I mean the AI tool for that month. Then by the time it gets to the end of the month, they will renew it. But talking about the pricing, I think what DeepSeek tried to do is to undercut all the existing ones, which is what you do when you're in business. If you want to go into a particular business, to a particular market, and the market is already saturated, you can either reduce your price or along with it, increase the quality. Of course, the quality of DeepSeek is good, and then your the marketing points you have may now cover more than your competitors. So we make it more available. When something is cheap, more available, has the quality, a lot of people will go to it. By the time you get your clients or customers, you can increase the price gradually and go back to and compete with the other people. So I think that's what DeepSeek did. But then when you look at what they've done, it's really good. Like the step-by-step way they do the thing is being dished out. Though that doesn't affect the quality, so to say, because the other ones, they do it in batch. It will be working in the background that it will spill it out and give you about 10 lines of code at the same time. But then the DeepSeek, like I said, couldn't manage obfuscation. I gave it 3 objects. GPT-4o was able to work with that, but DeepSeek just collapsed midway, of course, because it's a long. I'm writing an app, so it's an app of church hymns. So, for example, the church hymn will have different tunes, the lyrics. Some even have about 10 verses. Can you imagine? And about maybe 6 lines for this. Then it has chorus. When you add all that, it's very huge. So DeepSeek, maybe that's why it failed for that obfuscation. But definitely, that's what DeepSeek did. The quality is there in DeepSeek, but then the price is just to gain client. By the time it gets to the market, don't be surprised if they increase the price. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Once again, Nigerian Society of Engineers, Manchester branch, we are always intentional in opening up the space so that other disciplines and professionals can learn. You will agree with me that the topic today is engineering, can be applied in software development and, to solve problems anyway. So thank you so much for your participation and your continuous attendance of our technical session. We will bring another one next month, last Friday of the month. So at this point, permit me to yield to our branch chairman, Professor Davis Bamidele. Prof, please. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think Prof is muted.
Yeah, he's muted. Yes.
He's muted. So we don't have any other question, and we don't want to keep people waiting. And I heard the voice of our daddy Ademola. He usually say hi to us. Since we have that, Daddy, are you there?
Yes, he's there. I can see him.
Yeah.
Engineer Olorunfemi, you are welcome, sir.
Engineer, good evening. Thank you so much for always coming around.
You are still muted.
Okay.
Aha.
Okay, I think Prof is here now. Okay, yeah. Okay, Daddy, good evening.
Good evening, my brother. Well done, good job. Oguntusin, well done. I'm aware
Thank you.
Professor is also trying to join. I had issues initially, how to call Patrick, but I met with, I'm not surprised. I'm very delighted with the impact Master Branch is making. This is good. So, a bit technical for those of us who are not software engineers, but I have something to fall back on. We check the platform that Anadebo Family there. He was standing for me. That's my son, the software engineer. So, I think from where you have talked, it will take me to correlations, Chairman. Well done, Engr. Good to see.
Thank you.
The branch is practically becoming the branch to beat. Please keep it up. Thank you for the honor. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Prof, are you here now?
Sorry,
Professor Debisi. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Engineer Oguntusin. Thank you so much for the presentation. Even myself, that I'm supposed to be an engineer, I got lost at some point. Quite, when I say lost, not lost in, it was just very interesting. I really enjoyed it, and the way you presented it makes it very, very interesting. I think what I personally took from the presentation is the power of AI. In your case, you apply it to software engineering, but if for anyone that really want to use it in their own domain, in their sector, all it requires is really you spending time with passion to understand it. I mean, your background, you know, another thing, I was going to ask a question, but I think because of time now, it was really to encourage us about how you switch from agric engineering to what you are doing today. Because many of us, we you know, left Nigeria, you arrive here, and sometimes we could easily get stuck in, well, I did civil engineering, I must practice as a civil engineer, even when there is no opening in that domain and there are so many opportunities in other areas. So it would have been good to hear you briefly about how you navigate that switch, because if you didn't tell anyone, you are a software engineer true. So thanks for your presentation.
Prof, I must say that your humility is always world class, but that question has to be asked because we have 4 minutes. So, Dr. Oguntusin, please answer that question because a lot of people are going to benefit, particularly now that the career transition is really, I think that question should be addressed, please. If you can address it within 3 minutes because we still have 4 minutes.
I'll try and quickly do that. When I came over, you see, if you leave Nigeria as group engineering manager, mechanization manager that is in charge of mechanization services for the company for the whole of Nigeria, took me to all the corners of Nigeria at the time. And then you get to UK to get an agric engineering job at that level. I think it is just wishful thinking. But I already had flair for computing. So I sat down. What can I do that can keep me engaged, that I can bring food to the table? I said, okay, I can do this IT, right? And then in IT, the younger you are, the better, right? So I had another challenge there, but I knew I could combat that one. Okay, now, so how do I take care of myself? I want to go into software engineering. Which area can I go in that I can excel? If I had gone into .NET, the popular ones, PHP, there are so many people there. So in fact, when they just see your name, as contractors, you have to send in your passport and stuff like that. By the time they see the age, you're already at the bottom of the list. However, I decided, okay, I'll go for a niche cold fusion. There aren't many people there. But once you're good, that's it. They're not going to look at how old you are, how black you are, how white you are, or, they're looking at, can you deliver? Do you know cold fusion? Can you write it? Can we gain anything from you? That's how I ended up with cold fusion. So, well, there may be gaps in in getting contracts, but you don't, once you get it, you get it. But if I had stayed in the popular sector, I could have had problems. So that's how one should be thinking, how can I get into this sector, or which sector is best for me? Where can I perform? What do I enjoy? And if this is what I enjoy, how can I break into that sector? And even if I go into that sector, which section of that sector will benefit me, that I know in the long run, I will be okay. So that's how I ended up with cold fusion. And I think I've really enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much. And a
Thank
strategy has been outplayed. Back to you, Prof. Thank you so much, Dr. Oguntusin.
Thank you so much, sir. Just want to use this opportunity to thank you again. Actually, not just because you have presented today, which is amazing. Thank you so much. But actually for your contribution to the branch. Since the very first time that I came to the branch, I saw your humility, like you tell. I didn't want to mention age, but you mentioned it, so I am licensed to talk about it. So you are older than a number of us, but it didn't show in the way you've been relating with us. I've also seen how you try to contribute in the way, any manner that you can.
Okay, I think Prof is frozen, or is it me?
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm having network challenge. So thank you very
much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you last Friday of next month. Thank you so much. And remember,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.